Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I am going to be your host for our 33rd conversation. This topic, when a girlfriend cheats with your man, is going to be hot. I mean, when you find out that your best friend, your neighbor, that you've had your kids over their house and there's at yours, and or that coworker friend who tells you her story, or the employee that you hired who just needed a job and you helped her out, or that girlfriend you've had for years and years has been cheating on you with your husband or your partner for quite a while. That's what this show is about today, and we are going to get into it because I have heard this story hundreds and hundreds of times, and I want to give you some tips to be able to walk through that. Because when he cheats, sometimes he cheats with your girlfriend. Now, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com and subscribe there and review us on iTunes. It's really important you do that. This one, please do this, ladies. You're going to want to share this with everybody because you know a woman who's been betrayed by another woman. Now, also, one of you will be selected for a one-time private conversation with myself. They tell me it's priceless and fun, and we will have a good time with that. And also, there's a free chapter on the webpage, always at loveandsextoday.com. Now, this topic is red hot. I mean, really. I have been working with men and women who have committed adultery for almost 30 years. And every week, there's someone in my office. And they're telling me the stories of, their husbands have acted out with prostitutes and other people that they don't know, anonymous hookups, men, all kinds of issues. But then there's a story where it's her girlfriend. It's her neighbor friend. It's the girl she goes to the gym with or walks with. It's the girl she has over to the house and they have tea and coffee and they hang out with their kids together. They go to the park together. And it's this woman who has had sex ongoingly with her husband, sometimes for years, sometimes more than a decade. They've gone on vacations together. And she has betrayed you. Now, I have seen literally thousands of women do anger work on their husbands and get upset about their betrayal. But there is a betrayal between a woman friend when she has sex with your husband or your long-term partner. And it is real. This is something I learned on the job, that there's a code that women have with each other, that you don't sleep with each other's husband. It's just the one thing you never do. And it's an unwritten code, but when it is violated, it is traumatically painful for the woman who's the wife. She feels that she's no longer safe with that woman. She hates that woman. She's hurt by that woman. She's angry at that woman. She can recall every photograph of time they've spent together. She can recall every act of kindness that she's done to this woman, and yet still feels betrayed at such a deep level. And sometimes the betrayal of that friendship is almost as painful or more painful than the betrayal of her husband. Because maybe the husband has cheated before. He's a dog. He does all kinds of bad things. Okay, men are supposed to be bad. Like there's a cultural kind of, we accept that men do this. But women, especially your girlfriends, there is no framework for women betraying women. And so it sometimes is a little harder jump for them to go there. So I want to walk you through this because, first of all, the bond that you had with that woman, that's broken, it's shattered. And what you felt before was real, but what you're feeling today with the pain and anger and hurt is also very real and powerful. And I want to validate, you have been betrayed. You have been lied to. You've been stolen from as far as time and energy and your story. Now she's in your story of years. She's in your house. She's in your mind. She's in when you went on vacation and when you did this together and did that together. And what was she thinking? Because she had sex with him that weekend and yet she was with me that Sunday afternoon. What kind of woman does that? Is she crazy? Is she a borderline personality disorder? Is she a slut? Is she a whore? All these words and ideas come into your heart and mind, and that's valid. Every woman feels that. You don't have to feel that you're less than because you're having these strong hatred feelings towards this woman. You're going to go through normal grief. You're going to go through the shock. You can't believe she did this. You're going to be angry that she did this. Okay, you're going to bargain. Well, is it because she's skinnier, or because she's younger, because she's, got a funner personality, or because of this? No, it isn't. It's because there was opportunity, and he took the opportunity. Him victimizing her and bringing her into his game is a really real thing. You're going to feel sad about the loss of the relationship because she's someone you really like to talk to, like to be with, and now you're not going to be with her. And accepting that she's really that kind of woman. You're going to go through grief. That's normal. Okay. And any book on grief would be helpful there. And the book Partners Healing from His Addiction. If your husband has a sex addiction, that's probably a good book if you have that going on. So here's a couple things I'm going to recommend. There's a podcast early on that we did on dealing with anger. I want you to find that. It's early on and listen to that because you're going to need to get really good and mad. You're going to need to do what I talked about. Write the anger letter, warm up, get some kind of racket or bat and a mattress and go totally ballistic and ape. You're going to have to let that rage out of your beautiful little body. Okay. It is going to have to come out because otherwise you're going to get symptoms of possible depression, weight gain, all kinds of negative stuff, toxic stuff in your body you don't need to carry. She's not worth you carrying that pain in your body. You want to get that out. And we did another podcast on forgiving others. You're going to want to listen to that. There's an exercise there where you do a role play exercise that I walk through, and you're going to want to forgive her, not for her sake, and not because necessarily you think she's worthy of forgiveness, but you are. You're going to want to walk in forgiveness towards her because it's going to free you up. You can't change this. You're going to carry this scar for many years. When you think back on her, you will most likely think about what she's done with your husband. The images of her in your mind when you're having sex with your husband and your partner, that is real. I would encourage you not to go into any real detail with what they did sexually, because every time that you participate in that, you might get triggered and you might have a memory of her. And I've known women, if it's your neighbor, you're going to have to move. That sometimes happens if it's financially possible, but I've seen that happen again and again. If they've been in his car, you're going to want the car sold. These are normal thoughts. I would walk through that with a therapist. And if you need a therapist who understands betrayal, I can tell you the best team. I have the best team. If you call Heart to Heart Counseling Center at 719-278-3708, you're going to find compassionate women who have been through this with many women. We do this every week. We do 3 and 5 day intensives where people fly in from all over the country and the world, and they get help and healing from this kind of betrayal. So I want you to know that there's help for you, and you're going to have to take care of you. Watch your commitments to other things in your life. Scale down. You're going to have to grieve. You're really going to have to take this bullet out of you. Betrayal is huge, and the responsibility for this betrayal, you're going to have to squarely put on both of them. And I'm going to say something here that might be really offensive and hurts you, but I don't have any intentions on doing that. I mean, your girlfriend's betrayal is real. She is responsible for her sexuality. She's responsible for her choices. She's responsible for being part of this betrayal. Absolutely. However, she did not make a lifetime commitment to you. She did not put on a tuxedo and walk down the aisle while you were in the most stunning dress of your life and stand before God and stand before your family, your friends, and his family and his friends and said, I will forsake all others for you. She didn't make that commitment. She might have been vulnerable. She might have been needy. She might be a slut. She might be a whore. She might be a sex addict. She might be someone with a psychological disorder or just really needy. Maybe she was playing the game, hoping to capture your husband, to capture your lifestyle, to drive your car, to live in your house. You never know what all she was involved in. However, the responsibility for him cheating is his. He hurt you. Don't blame her for making him or manipulating him. There's some potential for that. But no real man can be seduced. Okay? The man had some cracks. Maybe he had a sex addiction. Maybe he was needy or vulnerable. Or maybe he was the perpetrator, the hunter, the man who was out there looking for another piece of action for himself because of his own psychological deficits that you have nothing to do with. When a man cheats, it's never the wife's fault, ever. There's something going on with him morally, spiritually, emotionally, addictions, abuse. I've dealt with these men, thousands of these men. It is never the wife's fault. I'm not saying there might not be issues, and there might not be issues in your marriage, but those don't make men cheat. Those make you go to counseling. Okay? So I hope this is helpful in validating your experience and your pain. And please, this is one of the shows that you want to send to the lady you know who's been betrayed by a woman. Okay? You know, if you're a hairdresser, give this to everyone you know. Okay? Because we really want them to heal and be whole and get back to having a great love life, great sex life, a great relationship, no matter which path of life they have to travel to get there. So I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, review us on iTunes, so one of you can be picked for a private conversation. I love getting to know you. And remember to go to the website and ask your questions. We want to start having you on the show. Suggest topics that we should talk about that are meaningful to you and would help the people that you care about, help your own self, have a better love and sex life. Well, remember, always have great love and great sex today.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.